Overdose deaths involving prescription opioids have quadrupled since 1999 in the U.S., and so have sales of these prescription drugs.
But a new finding in Wisconsin is showing a different trend. News 8's Sarah Tamer now joins us from the newsroom with more.
Mike and Martha, today at least half of all U.S. opioid overdose deaths involve a prescription. And while opioid prescribing has fueled the epidemic, a report published by Wisconsin's Controlled Substance Board shows a 10% drop in the number of opioid prescriptions written and filled compared to this time last year. It appears a special monitoring system is playing a key role.
Now that the data has come out, it's become clear that we're overprescribing.
That's because the Prescription Drug Monitoring Database, which tracks patients' prescription history, has not been widely used in Wisconsin. But that will all change.
All prescribers of controlled substances, so not just narcotics. So you're talking any of the stimulants, obviously narcotics, and some of the sleeping aids, the sedatives are all being required that the prescriber check the database before they prescribe.
From 1999 to 2014, more than 165,000 people died in the U.S. from overdoses related to prescription opioids.
When you talk about the statistics of opioid overdoses, a good chunk of those are prescription drug overdoses. Heroin is smaller, actually, than the prescription drug overdoses.
But now that doctors will be required to use the Prescription Drug Monitoring Database, those statistics are expected to change.
Because they are seeing the results of doctors entering that information and then are being much more conservative about making those prescriptions.
And thanks to the advancement of technology, doctors say the database makes it much easier to prevent overprescribing.
It will have a more complete picture, including more of a graphical interface, which will be nicer, and it will allow like your administrator or your local director access to be able to see prescription habits of all the providers under them.
In June, only 14% of doctors in the state use the database. Pharmacists, however, have been required to check the database for more than a year. Doctors will be required to use the Prescription Drug Monitoring Database by next April.
Thanks a lot, Sarah. And law enforcement also uses the PDMP to check for stolen prescriptions.